Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Breeden. I've just created a YouTube channel, and this is my official channel. I hope you'll support me. Young and the Restless Spoilers. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Y&R addicts. Today is a beautifully chaotic day in the soap world, and we have so much to unpack. Grab your coffee, tea, or maybe something stronger, because the drama in Genoa City is reaching a boiling point, and we need to talk about it immediately. Let's dive right into the madness. I cannot believe they did that. I am literally sitting here in the dark, staring at my screen, completely unable to process what I just watched. I had to jump on here and type this out before I explode because my mind is just racing. Are we seriously doing this? Are we really going down this road again? I mean, I have been watching this show religiously since Hanging Lair Muelam, and I have seen some truly wild, out of left field storylines. But this is on a whole different level of chaotic. We need to talk about Diane Jenkins and Patty Williams, because I am losing my actual mind over the sheer audacity of what just went down in Genoa City. Reacting first and explaining later, but I just have to scream, how is Patty Williams the voice of reason right now? It makes zero sense, and yet it is the most compelling thing I have seen all month. I am so frustrated, so invested, and so incredibly stressed out by this entire situation. But let's back up for a second because I am getting way ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. The April Muy Lumth episode. Can we talk about this specific scene? Patty confronts Diane, and it wasn't just a passing comment in the athletic club. It was a targeted, chilling, look you dead in the eyes confrontation. Patty literally warned Diane that she could become more dangerous than ever. Let that sink in. Patty Williams, a woman whose rap sheet reads like a true crime podcast, is looking at Diane Jenkins and telling her that she is on a dangerous path. I actually laughed out loud at my television. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. But here is the thing that is keeping me awake right now. What if Patty is right? What if the writers are using the most unstable character on the canvas to deliver the most accurate prophecy of the year? And the craziest part of this whole interaction, Patty actually stood there and claimed that she is in a different state of mind now. She insisted that she is mentally stable. I'm sorry, but what? Am I the only one who remembers the absolute hell Patty has put people through over the years? But wait, I have to admit, there was something deeply unsettling about how calm she was when she delivered this warning. It wasn't a chaotic, unhinged Patty rant. It was focused. It was deliberate. It was almost like she was looking right through Diane's carefully constructed good girl facade and seeing the monster that has been hibernating inside her for years. In a soap opera, the past always dictates the future, and having the messenger be someone as historically unreliable as Patty is a brilliant, albeit frustrating, narrative choice. Even the most unlikely messengers can be dead right. So why is this warning hitting so hard? Because of everything else happening around Diane right now. Let's talk about the giant cheating elephant in the room, Jack Abbott. I love Jack, I really do, but my God, the man is an absolute disaster when it comes to women. I am furious with him. Diane has spent months, literally months and months, crawling on her hands and knees to prove she has changed. She rebuilt her relationship with Kyle. She earned back Jack's trust She played the perfect supportive partner. And what does Jack do? He blows it all up in the most spectacular, humiliating way possible. The tension between Diane and Jack right now isn't just a simple marital spat. It is rooted in Jack's incredibly disturbing actions with Patty, because let's not forget what actually happened between Jack and Patty. Patty didn't just show up and say hello. She drugged Jack. She held him captive on a literal boat. The situation escalated into something so complex and terrifying, and then it resulted in a one-night stand. I am screaming. How does Jack Abbott, a seasoned, intelligent patriarch, let himself get dragged into this kind of mess again? Diane caught him. She knows about the one-night stand with Patty. The emotional fallout from that alone would be enough to break any normal person. Diane is trying to balance her loyalty, her shattered trust, and the lingering trauma of what Jack's betrayal means for her hard-won life in Genoa City. She is backed into a corner, emotionally bleeding out, and trying to maintain this image of the new and improved Diane. But wait, it gets worse, because Jack couldn't just stop at blowing up his marriage with Patty. Oh no. The universe decided that Diane hadn't suffered enough humiliation for 1 week. Enter Nikki Newman. Nikki freaking Newman. As if the Patty situation wasn't enough to push Diane over the edge, Diane recently caught Jack in a highly compromising, entirely too intimate moment with Nikki. I threw my remote at the couch when I saw this. Are you kidding me? Nikki and Diane have been mortal enemies for decades. Their rivalry is legendary. They have slapped, scratched, and clawed at each other over Victor, over Jack, over everything. And now, in Diane's most vulnerable moment, when her marriage is already hanging by a thread because of Patty, she walks in and sees her husband seeking comfort with her greatest rival. I mean, put yourself in Diane's shoes for just 1 second. I know some people are loving this and cheering for Diane's downfall. I see you in the forums, you Diane haters. But personally, I feel a tiny bit of sympathy for her right now. She has been trying so hard. Her entire return to Genoa City was built on this foundation of redemption. She wanted to prove to everyone, especially Kyle, that she was no longer the manipulative, selfish woman who faked her own death and abandoned her son. She swallowed her pride time and time again. She took the insults from Phyllis, from Nikki, from Ashley. She took the high road when every instinct in her body told her to fight dirty, and she won. She got the ring. She got the man. She got the family. But redemption on the young and the restless is never permanent. We all know this. It is a temporary state of grace until the writers decide they need a villain again. And I can feel it in my bones. They are setting Diane up for a massive, catastrophic fall. The pressure is mounting. The tension is escalating. The emotional cracks are showing when you push a woman who has a history of extreme behavior to her absolute limit. You don't get a quiet divorce. You get a war. Diane is currently trying to hold it together to prove that her change is real and that it can withstand this kind of pressure. But how much can one person take before they snap? This brings me back to Patty's warning, more dangerous than ever. Why did Patty say more dangerous? Because Patty knows what Diane is capable of. We all do. Remember the old Diane? The woman who faked her own murder? The woman who manipulated DNA tests? The woman who would stop at absolutely nothing to get what she wanted? That woman didn't just disappear. She just went dormant. She put on a designer suit, learned how to smile politely at society galas, and buried her dark side deep down. But Jack's betrayals are like a shovel, digging up all that old trauma and fury. And let's talk about the Nikki factor again, because I am genuinely obsessed with how messy this is. Nikki has been dealing with her own nightmare, Nick's addiction, teaming up with Victor, all of that stress. So, of course, she leans on Jack. Jack has always been Nikki's safe harbor when the Newman family drama gets too toxic. But Jack is married to Diane now. He doesn't get to be Nikki's emotional support animal anymore. Diane seeing them together. I can't even imagine the rage bubbling inside her. It's not just jealousy, it's territorial. It's the ultimate disrespect. It proves to Diane that no matter how much she changes, Jack will always have these deep, unbreakable bonds with the women who despise her. I'm sorry, but Jack deserves whatever is coming to him. There, I said it. I love the guy, but he is acting like an absolute fool. You do not bring Diane Jenkins back into your life, marry her, demand that your entire family accept her, alienate your sister Ashley in the process, and then go and sleep with Patty Williams and cuddle up with Nikki Newman. What is the logic? He's creating a monster. If Diane goes full dark side, Jack has no one to blame but himself. He handed her the matches and poured the gasoline. So, is Patty seeing something that everyone else is refusing to acknowledge? Absolutely. Patty is the Cassandra of Genoa City right now, blessed with the truth, but cursed to never be believed. Diane still thinks she has a grip on her future. She is probably telling herself, I can fix this, I can forgive Jack, I can keep my family together. But she is lying to herself. The control is slipping. You can see it in her eyes during that confrontation with Patty. You can see the micro expressions of pure, unadulterated rage when she looks at Nikki. The mask is slipping, guys. The mask is absolutely slipping. I am terrified and thrilled at the same time. Remember when they tried this redemption arc with Adam or with Phyllis? Yeah, didn't work then either. Eventually, the core of the character has to shine through. Diane is a survivor, and survivors fight back when they are threatened. Right now, her entire existence in Genoa City is threatened. Her marriage is a joke, her rivals are circling like sharks, and the town crazy lady is reading her for filth. Diane is going to explode. What does a dangerous Diane look like in Hangile Hamisho? That is the million-dollar question. She isn't going to just fake her death again. That trick is played out. No. I think she is going to go after Jack's legacy. She is going to target Jabot. She is going to target Nikki. I wouldn't be surprised if she somehow teams up with Victor. Wait, no, Victor hates her. But maybe Victor would use her to destroy Jack. Oh my God, my mind is spinning with the possibilities. But whatever she does, it is going to be calculated, cold, and utterly devastating. And what about Kyle? Oh, poor, sweet, naive Kyle. He defended his mother to the ends of the earth. He fought with Summer over her. He risked his entire life to bring her back into the fold. When Diane inevitably snaps and goes back to her old ways, it is going to destroy Kyle. The betrayal he's going to feel will be monumental. Will he blame Jack for pushing her to it? Or will he finally realize that Summer and Phyllis were right all along? The ripple effects of Diane's impending breakdown are going to touch every single family in Genoa City. I know some fans are exhausted by the Diane show. I see the tweets. People are like, can we please focus on someone else? But honestly, I am here for it. Give me unhinged Diane. Give me a Diane who stops apologizing for breathing and starts making people pay for underestimating her. I am so tired of watching her play the victim and take the high road. The high road is boring. We watch soap operas for the drama, the backstabbing, the epic confrontations, and a Diane Jenkins revenge tour is exactly what we need for May Sweeps. But let's circle back to Patty for a minute. Can we just appreciate the acting in that scene? The way Patty delivered that line, more dangerous than ever, it gave me chills. It is such a brilliant use of history in a town where everyone is constantly keeping secrets and lying to each other. It takes the person who has completely lost their mind in the past to see the truth clearly in the present. Patty is the mirror being held up to Diane's face, and Diane is terrified of the reflection. I just keep thinking about how Diane must be rationalizing all of this in her head. She probably thinks she's the victim here. Jack cheated. Jack betrayed her. Nikki is hovering. Patty is taunting her. In Diane's mind, whatever she does next is going to be entirely justified. That is what makes her so dangerous. A villain who thinks they are the hero is the most terrifying kind of villain. She isn't going to scheme for the sake of scheming. She is going to scheme for justice. And let's be real, Jack is not going to handle this well. He's going to try to gaslight her into thinking he just made a mistake with Patty and that Nikki is just a friend. I can already hear his condescending, smooth-talking apologies. Diane, darling, please, you have to understand. I was under so much stress. No, Jack, you don't get to use stress as an excuse to sleep with the woman who drugged you and held you hostage. The writing for Jack right now is making me so angry, but it is making for incredible television. So where do we go from here? We are barreling toward May Sweeps, and the tension is so thick I can barely breathe watching it. I am predicting a massive public confrontation. I don't want this to happen behind closed doors at the Abbott Mansion. I want Diane to lose her mind in the middle of the athletic club dining room. I want drinks thrown. I want tables flipped. I want her to air all of Jack's dirty laundry for the entire town to hear. If you are going to burn your life down, you might as well make it a spectacle. Am I crazy for wanting this? Maybe. But after years of watching Diane play nice, the payoff of her finally snapping needs to be epic. The writers have laid the groundwork perfectly. The Patty incident, the Nikki betrayal, the constant pressure to be perfect it is a recipe for a psychological meltdown. Diane Jenkins is a ticking time bomb, and Patty Williams just lit the fuse. And can we take a moment to talk about the sheer historical weight of this entire setup? I mean, think about the legacy of these characters. We are talking about decades of bad blood, betrayals, and absolute chaos. When Diane first came back from the dead, half the town wanted to run her out on a rail. They swore she hadn't changed. They swore she would destroy Jack again. And for a long time, she proved them wrong. She made Phyllis look like the crazy one. She made Ashley look paranoid. She played the long game so perfectly that we all started to believe the illusion. But you cannot outrun your true nature forever. The writers are peeling back the layers of Diane's psyche, and what is underneath is a woman who has been suppressing a volcanic amount of resentment. Every slight, every insult, every condescending look from Nikki Newman, she has been cataloging it all. And Jack just gave her the ultimate reason to unleash all that stored up fury. Honestly, I am pacing around my living room just thinking about the fallout. If Diane goes rogue, who's going to stop her? Kyle will be too heartbroken to intervene. Jack will be too drowning in his own guilt over Patty and Nikki to mount a proper defense. Victor might try to step in if she targets Newman Enterprises or Nikki directly, but even Victor knows that a scorned Diane Jenkins is a force of nature. She doesn't fight by the rules. She doesn't care about collateral damage. When she is backed into a corner, she burns the entire room down just to ensure her enemies go up in flames with her. Patty Williams knew exactly what she was doing when she poked the bear. She wasn't just giving a warning, she was issuing a challenge. And Diane is absolutely going to accept it. Okay, I really need to go to sleep, but I am still so wired. I just had to get all these thoughts out because this storyline is consuming my life right now. I am dreading what Jack is going to do next, but I am absolutely living for the inevitable Diane Jenkins villain era. Let me know if you guys are seeing the same things I am, or if I am just overly emotional because it's high AM and I care way too much about these fictional characters. Until next time, keep watching, keep venting, and brace yourselves because Genoa City is about to explode.